What if everything you thought about building wealth was wrong? What if it doesn't start with $1 million, but with a single, crucial step? Your entire journey to freedom begins with that first $10,000. And if you don't master this beginning, you might never reach the end. Let's talk about your freedom number. This isn't a daydream or a fantasy about private jets. It's a real, concrete, mathematical target. It's the exact amount of money that, once you have it working for you, means your money can pay for your life forever. You'll never have to lay awake worrying about bills again. Here's the magic. Once you invest that number correctly, it generates passive income, enough to cover your lifestyle indefinitely. It becomes your own golden goose. You get to live off the eggs it lays, while the goose itself continues to grow. But here's the most important part. Your freedom number is not the same as mine or your neighbor's, because freedom looks different to everyone. For some, it means international travel every year and a luxury car. For others, it's something quieter, a paid-off home, the ability to handle a car repair without panic, or being able to go out to dinner without first checking your bank account. The truth is, the more luxurious your dream lifestyle, the harder it is to reach financial freedom. That's why so many people chase wealth, but never actually feel free. Let me give you a personal example. I would much rather live in a modest house, drive a reliable used car, and have true peace of mind than own a mansion with an elevator while I'm drowning in debt. Because the real essence of freedom isn't about showing off. It's about security. It's knowing that an emergency won't break you. It's about your money protecting you instead of controlling you. So, here is the first and most important rule. Don't chase a flashy lifestyle. Chase your freedom number. Once you define what that number is, your entire financial journey becomes clear and focused. So let's turn this idea into real math, because freedom isn't just a feeling, it's an equation. Let's start with the basics. For most people in their 30s, a decent one-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized city costs around $1,800 a month. That's $21,600 a year. If you finance a $30,000 car and add in insurance, gas, and maintenance, you're looking at roughly $800 a month or $9,600 a year. Let's budget for 2 domestic trips and 1 international trip each year. That's about $7,000. Electricity, water, internet, and phone will run you about $250 a month, another $3,000 a year. Between groceries, takeout, and restaurants, the average single person spends about $500 to $600 a month. Let's call it $7,000 a year. This is your gym membership, streaming services, nights out, and hobbies. Let's say $400 a month, or about $5,000 a year. Now, let's add it all up. Housing, $21,600. Car, $9,600. Travel, $7,000. Utilities, $3,000. Food, $7,000. Lifestyle, $5,000. That equals $53,200 a year, or about $4,400 a month for a comfortable, middle-class lifestyle in the US. And now, here's where the famous formula comes in. You multiply that yearly number by 25. Why? Because of the 4% rule. This is a simple principle backed by decades of research. It shows that if your investments can generate 4% returns per year, and you only ever withdraw that 4%, your initial pool of money will never run out. The principle stays intact, and the returns cover your lifestyle. So $53,200 multiplied by 25 equals $1,330,000. That is the freedom number for this specific example. Here's the powerful part. That number is not set in stone. If you want a simpler life, you need less. If you want more luxury, you'll need more. But once you define it, once you know your number, every single dollar you save stops feeling random. It becomes a soldier in your army, marching you directly toward your goal. The truth for most people is that freedom feels out of reach, not because they don't earn enough money, but because their money leaks out silently. Every subscription you forgot to cancel, every impulse buy on Amazon, every just this once expensive dinner that becomes a habit, it's not just spending. These are cracks in your pipe, draining your momentum away. But here is the great news. You don't need to give up your coffee or live like a monk. You just need to find and fix the biggest leaks. Let's start with cars. In America, the average car payment is over $700 a month. With insurance, gas, and maintenance, you're easily spending over $1,000 a month just to have a car. That's more than rent in some places. The hack? Buy a reliable used car, like a 3-year-old Toyota or Honda, that has already gone through its steepest depreciation. This simple choice can save you tens of thousands of dollars over a decade. Next, let's talk about brands. We live in a culture obsessed with labels, but choosing store-brand items at the grocery store can cut your bill by 20 to 30%. The quality is almost always identical. Think about it. The store-brand pasta sauce often tastes the same as the expensive name brand, but for half the price. That difference adds up year after year. And now for the big one, housing. Rent or a mortgage is the biggest expense for most people. What if you could turn that cost into an income stream? One powerful way is called house hacking. This means renting out a basement, a spare bedroom, or even a small unit on Airbnb. Suddenly, your $1,800 rent could be cut in half, or even dropped to zero. Imagine living for free while someone else pays your biggest bill. The hacks don't stop there. Hack your taxes. If you have a side hustle or a small business, learn the rules. You can deduct your home office, internet, travel, and even part of your phone bill. Use tax-advantaged accounts like a 401k, Roth IRA, or HSA. These aren't just confusing letters. They are rocket fuel for your wealth. Finally, hack your negotiations. In America, almost everything is negotiable if you have the courage to ask. Your gym membership, your cable bill, your car insurance, even your medical bills. One confident phone call can save you more money than skipping coffee for an entire year. These hacks might not feel glamorous, but together, they can put thousands of dollars back into your pocket every single year. And every dollar you keep is another worker that joins your army of freedom. Now, let's talk about credit. For many, credit cards are the enemy. They bring debt, stress, and sleepless nights. And that's true. If you don't control them, they will control you. But here's the part nobody tells you. Used correctly, credit can become one of your fastest allies on the path to building wealth. Think of your credit score as your financial reputation. It's the number that decides if you get a 5% interest rate or a 20% interest rate. It's the difference between wasting thousands of dollars on interest or keeping that money working for you. Here's a real example. Two people buy the same $300,000 house. One has excellent credit. The other has poor credit. The difference in their mortgage rates could easily cost the person with poor credit over $100,000 in extra interest over the life of the loan. Same house, same price, but one person is chained to debt while the other saves a fortune. So, how do you hack your credit? Start with the basics. Use your card every month, but never, ever carry a balance. Pay it off in full every single time. Keep your credit utilization under 30% and ideally under 10%. And the longer you keep your accounts open and in good standing, the better your score will be. Over time, as your score climbs, lenders start to treat you differently. You get lower interest rates, higher trust, and better deals. But there's more. Many cards reward you for smart spending with cashback, points, and free flights. If you are disciplined, these rewards are like getting a bonus for spending money you were already going to spend. The key is this: don't see credit as free money. See it as a powerful lever. And if you pull that lever carefully, it can save you years of financial struggle. Because in the game of money, the rules are simple. Either you master credit or credit masters you. Now, I want you to picture a stool. A stool with only one leg. That's what your finances look like if your job is your only source of income. The moment that one leg breaks, a layoff, an illness, company downsizing, the whole stool collapses. Now, imagine that same stool with 3 or 4 strong legs. Even if one leg fails, the stool still stands. That is the power of having multiple streams of income. Here's the reality. The idea of a single, stable job for life is gone. The average American will have 12 different jobs in their career. Job security is an illusion. So the question isn't if you will lose a job, it's what will you do when it happens. Wealthy people know the answer. They build backup legs. Start with a side hustle. Leverage skills you already have: writing, design, coding, tutoring, consulting, and turn them into freelance projects. Or try e-commerce, creating digital products, or affiliate marketing. And never underestimate the classics: dog walking, car detailing, or cleaning services. Small jobs add up incredibly fast when you direct every extra dollar into your investments. Let's look at the math. The average American has about 40 hours of free time each week. What if you dedicated just 10 of those hours to a side project? It could completely change your financial future. Because every extra dollar you earn isn't just income, it's fuel. Fuel for your investments and fuel for your freedom. Over time, these side hustles can evolve. Some might grow into full businesses. Others become passive income streams. But together, they transform your one-legged stool into an unshakable fortress that no single emergency can knock down. So don't wait for a disaster to force you to act. Start building those extra legs now. Because the strongest wealth isn't built on how much you earn. It's built on how many ways you earn it. This is where most people get money completely wrong. The poor see money as survival. A paycheck to cover bills, rent, and food. The middle class see money as leverage for debt. They build credit to qualify for a bigger mortgage or a nicer car, which only traps them further. But the wealthy see money for what it truly is: a tool for expansion. A tool that builds more money. When a wealthy person gets $1,000, they don't rush to spend it. They ask, how can I make this $1,000 hire more workers for me? This is the mindset shift. Money is not just paper. It is potential energy. If you leave it sitting in a low-interest bank account, it slowly dies. But when you direct it into investments, it multiplies. Think about it this way. Your dollars are your employees. They don't need to sleep, they don't call in sick, and they don't take vacations. They work for you every single day, as long as you give them a job. What are the jobs? Stocks, index funds, rental properties, dividend-paying REITs. These are the workplaces for your money, and once you understand this, every purchase feels different. That $100 pair of sneakers isn't just sneakers. It's an employee you just fired, one who could have doubled your money in the future. That $50 dinner out isn't just dinner. It's a delay on your freedom timeline. This doesn't mean you never spend money on yourself. It means you start asking a new question. Is this purchase moving me forward, or is it holding me back? When you begin to see money this way, something powerful happens. You stop chasing lifestyle upgrades. You start building systems. You stop thinking only about your income. You start thinking about your assets. That is the true purpose of money. Not survival, not status, but expansion. So, how do you actually put your dollars to work? Let's start simple. The stock market. Don't think about picking flashy stocks. Think about owning pieces of hundreds of strong, profitable companies through index funds and ETFs. The S&P 500, for example, lets you own a tiny piece of 500 of America's biggest companies. It's one of the easiest ways to turn your cash into permanent workers. REITs, real estate investment trusts, these are companies that own and operate real estate. You can buy into them for as little as $100. Instead of being a landlord yourself, the REITs pays you dividends every month from the rent they collect. It's real estate income without the hassle. Bitcoin, think of it as digital gold. You don't need to understand the complex blockchain technology to use it, just like you don't need to be an electrician to use a light switch. What matters is this: Bitcoin is digital scarcity. Only 21 million will ever exist. It's volatile, but as a small part of your portfolio, it can act as a powerful hedge. Real estate. This is still one of the most powerful paths to wealth. But instead of buying a luxury home for yourself, think like an investor. Look for a duplex or a house with a basement apartment you can rent out. This is house hacking at its best. Your tenant pays your mortgage, and you eventually own the asset outright. The key is this: you don't need to be a master of every single type of investment. You just need to choose a few solid paths where your money can consistently grow. Because once you give your dollars a job, the math finally starts working in your favor. The difference between being broke and being wealthy isn't about intelligence. It's about whether your money is sitting idle or clocking in for work every single day. In the beginning, building wealth feels slow and impossible. Every dollar feels too small. Every sacrifice feels like it will never end. And most people quit right before the curve starts to bend upward. But here is the ultimate secret. Freedom doesn't begin when you finally hit $1 million. It begins much earlier. It begins with discipline, with clarity, and with systems that turn your first few $1,000s into an unstoppable snowball. Wealthy people aren't different because they were born with money. They are different because they crossed an invisible line, the line where their dollars started working harder than they did. That is the shift that is waiting for you too. The moment when you stop asking, "Can I ever be free?" and you start asking, "How far can this really go?" So, here is your challenge. Define your freedom number. Find and hack the leaks in your spending. Build extra legs of income for your stool. And give every single dollar a job, because one day, you will wake up and realize something incredible. Your money isn't just sitting in an account. It's moving. It's multiplying. It's carrying you forward quietly and relentlessly, even while you sleep. And when that happens, the pressure lifts. The fear fades, and freedom stops being a distant dream. It becomes your reality. If this video helped you see the path to your freedom number, pay it forward by hitting that like button and subscribing for more content that breaks down how money really works. We want to hear from you. What's the number one money leak you're committing to plugging this month? Tell us in the comments below. And remember, every single dollar you save and invest today is a silent, hardworking employee that never clocks out. Ready for your next step? Don't stop your momentum now. Click on one of the videos we've selected for you on screen right now. Each one is designed to take you deeper into the strategies and mindsets that will build your wealth faster.